your advocacy for Palestine. You are not alone. Contact our organization at www.
Oh yeah, this is the lawyer.
cair.com and seek our help.
Now, there's some real niggas for that, because people been getting fired from their jobs. They've been getting job offers revoked. They've been getting punished by their colleges, like all types of shit, just for saying, stop killing these innocent people. That's crazy. Chat, I feel like I'm living in the fucking Twilight Zone with the way some people be bending over backwards to justify this shit. There's no reason why fucking, it's probably 10,000 people. 10,000 people have been killed at this point. And I know the number of injured people is probably like 5 times that. This is fucking ridiculous. And this doesn't even speak to the fucking trauma that these people are gonna experience growing up. And y'all niggas be surprised when they grow up trying to like pack somebody up. When you killing they parents, you killing their brothers, they sisters. The parents, you killing their kids. Kids gotta dig they fucking parents out the rubble and find pieces of their family members. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, if any of us, niggas be ready, bro. Niggas be ready to fight just for somebody disrespecting their child. How would you feel if somebody from a country that you don't even belong to is literally just straight up bombing your family, bombing your house, and then all you see is fucking rubble, and you hear your family members screaming under the rubble, but you can't get to them because they cut the fucking gas, so y'all can't get the trucks or the bulldozers to actually lift the shit up. So you gotta hear fucking screams of people under the rubble of buildings, picking up pieces of your family member, pieces of your kids. I remember the video of the guy who was running around just screaming because they gave him the remains of his family in plastic bags, pieces of his kids in plastic bags. It was an arm hanging out the bag and something hanging out the other bag. He's holding them up. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with it? Like, I cannot even fathom that happening to me. And the reason why I think people need to care, shit, if you don't care about them, which you're fucking crazy, something's a little off with your humanity if you somehow don't care about women and children and people that didn't do shit but get born just getting like murdered. Like, this is literally basically a real-time Holocaust happening. They use chemical weapons on these people. They tear down their houses when they build houses on the West Bank. If you're born into Gaza, you're stuck in Gaza. You literally can't get out. There's no hope for anything. And half of their population in Gaza, out of 2 million plus people, is kids. So I'm not trying to hear this boo-hoo Israeli children when, come to find out, when niggas and real journalists start fact checking the numbers that Israel is saying, the people that was killed ain't even 1,400. How about that? They've been saying 1,400 Israelis. The official numbers are actually less than that. And it's sad that anybody get packed, but then they underreport how many of the people that were slaughtered were military people. They don't even talk about that because they're like, oh, why'd they attack the innocent people? They should have gone after the military. Well, they did. They did. And then they came up with bullshit stories about Hamas cutting babies' heads, which they retracted the story, by the way, but because it already got out, unsubstantiated, unfact checked, that's what people ran with for the first whole week or 2 weeks. They stopped reporting on the story because the Israeli government couldn't even confirm it. So it's like the propaganda, that's some really it's anti-brown, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic fear-mongering, basically, because they gave up on that claim. Now I saw someone talk about they bake babies in the oven. Like, okay, y'all are just making up shit now at this point. We done seen Israel post fucking pictures of crime scenes with fake blood. It's like, okay, if people were actually hurt, why do you don't need to like make fake crime scenes to garner sympathy. Like, y'all niggas are weird. Y'all are actually fucking weird. So that's all I'm saying. As you say, she always pushes me to learn more, do more, be more in the world than I am today. Oh, thank you, bestie. Same for me, same for me. It goes both ways. I lucked out.
We have Mohammed El Gordo.
Yoshi! What's good, fam? How we feeling, Yoshi?
Hi.
Wait, who is this?
What a sight for sore eyes.
How you feeling today, Yoshi?
Look at all of you. When I was growing up in Jerusalem, we would have so many international activists come visit our house. And my grandmother would tell them, America is the reason. She would tell them, when you go back to your country, talk about Palestine. And look at us today. In the belly of the fucking beast.
Yo, I wonder how many people are out there.
How dare they call us children of darkness? We are liberation. We are enlightenment. We are moral clarity. I want us to take a few minutes to consider the magnitude of loss of life currently happening in the Gaza Strip.
Hey chat, make sure y'all drop the fam Yoshi a follow. W streamer, W person. How was your week, Yoshi? It's good to see you, fam.
Families and
We gotta play Minecraft sometime.
Consider their lovers. Consider the people missing them. Consider our martyrs' lives, their grievances, their hobbies, and most of all, I want you to consider the fear that they must have felt as warplanes dropped over their heads, the fear they must have felt minutes before they were killed. And I want you to compare that fear, I want you to measure that fear against your own fear. It does not compare.
He's spitting.
I understand it. We're all afraid of losing a job, of losing a friend, of being ostracized, of being shamed. I called my father earlier. I told him I was coming to this march. He said, stay away from the cameras. We're all afraid. But this fear does not compare. They want us to think that we are paying personal prices, but we have our community. They want us to think that we are alone, but we have our people supporting us.
That's what's up, Yoshi. Glad you're resting.
If they come for you,
I had a busy week too.
If they come for you, if they take your job, if they fire you from school, if they expel you, do not think of yourself as a casualty. You are not a casualty. You are fuel for the movement. You are part of the struggle. They want us to be silent, but we know silence will not protect us. Fear and silence will do nothing but allow this carnage to go on unchecked. Silence is a sign of consent in the empire. Are we afraid? Are we
No, he
afraid?
is spitting. He is spitting.
Let me tell you this. Empire does not reward silence. It will crush us anyway. It will swallow us anyway. We cannot sit.
Look at the
in
little
corner
baby
quietly
Jewish
as they
dude.
kill our people. Are you afraid?
Respect to the youngin'. They got the youngin' out here. Yeah, Yoshi, it was great. It was great. No way. What?
And so we are a part of a large grassroots
800
movement
million?
to say no. Minnesota does not want to support weapons.
So they're using fucking people's pension money to support these niggas too? So the $4 billion a year we send them is not enough they take that from our taxpayer dollars and state taxes. That's fucking insane. Oh, that would piss me off.
But she sold us out the past 3 weeks. If you are a friend of this movement, you need to be a friend of this movement at the most dire moment. And so it is important for us to keep up our pressure, whether or not we're in D.C., whether or not we're in New York, whether or not we're in Minnesota, because together we need a chant. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you very much. You're beautiful. Next up, we have Dr. Osama Abu-Rashed from American Muslims for Palestine.
Basically said I have about 300 of money that comes out of taxes for Georgia. Yeah, right. State tax, right?
Salute each and every one of you for your steadfastness, for your resilience.
That last month, Kemp purchased 10 million Israeli bonds. Wow. Did they like announce that? So they're using our state tax money to keep their economy afloat too? God damn. So the federal taxes that go to them ain't enough. That's nuts, bro. Hold
Media just shifted their tone in relation to the brutality, to the genocide is taking place in Gaza, is because your voices have been heard. It is because of your actions and advocacy. It is not that, God forbid, that they had a sudden conscious awakening. They don't have a conscience. What they understand is pressure. What they understand is that we call them out. Is what they understand is that the people are unified. And we are unified in our position to bring this genocide in Gaza to a complete.
Dusty said, why is everyone so pro-Palestine? What have become of just neutral? So I would say the norm is actually for people to be pro-Israel. So my question is, why is everyone pro-Israel? And being neutral in a case where there are blatant war crimes and there is a genocide, in my opinion, is being complicit. So being neutral in a case where people are being murdered without a government or military. Okay, I got you, demo suit. So yeah, my question, why do you want to remain neutral instead of actually doing research to understand what's going on so that you can pick a side? Because to me, being neutral is honestly some bitch ass shit. For a case like this, you were just scared as fuck to pick a side. And if you were scared to pick a side because you're uneducated or uninformed, you are making the choice to not inform yourself. It's not like it's back in the day where you have to know someone who's from there or read a book or something. You could literally go on the internet, learn basic information about what's going on, and form an opinion. So my question to you is why? So my question is, why is being neutral even an option? Pick a side. Don't be scared. If you want to say, these people don't deserve to stop getting bombed, just say that. Pick your side, right? And then we can sit there and break down how that's dumb as hell, and then go from there. But it's, to me, I don't understand why. And what is this perception that everyone's so pro-Palestine when most of the top world governments are supporting Israel? Like, the most we're doing is using our voice. These people are actually funding Israel. So where it matters most, people are supporting Israel, which is with the money and weapons. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people trying to speak out against the norm, which is pro-Israel. That's the only reason our taxpayers went there in the first place, because there is a narrative formed and there's a reason for people to support that country, which I struggle to even call it a country. It's an illegal settlement. Working class everyday people are pro-Palestine. These corporations and major industries are not. Facts. The corporations, major industries, politicians, they are all pro-Israel. So us small people at the bottom who can identify with the struggle that they have against imperialism, capitalism, and racism, people that identify with those things are able to identify with their struggle because we have a common struggle regardless if we are in a more privileged situation. Because of our history, those of us with the conscience can identify that the same thing is happening to them, but way more blatant and way worse in real time. So I would say that is why you see more people speaking up and being pro-Palestine, because they just now have understood what is actually going on, whereas before our news wasn't even objectively reporting on what's going on. So now that people are able to get access to their information on their own instead of just listening to mainstream media, they see what's going on and they're disgusted, rightfully so. So if you were ignorant to it before, now with TikTok, YouTube, people able to learn on their own, they're able to actually understand what's going on, and that's what makes them realize how crazy it is what's being allowed to go on and what we're funding with our taxpayer dollars. But the reality is, at the end of the day, the major countries are still pro-Israel. So we are in the minority still.
That's what's going to be achieved. Freedom is coming. This is inevitable. Palestine, wallah, by whatever Lord you worship, is going to be free. It's going to be free. Apartheid will be dismantled. Imperialism will be defeated. And liars will lose the elections, inshallah.
Giannis said, the least we can do is be labeled as pro-Palestine in a world that is quite literally watching senseless, endless murders, violence, inhumane bombings, killing of endless children, mothers, whole bloodlines. That's the least we all can do, is identify as pro-Palestine. I don't care. Being neutral in something like this is the most fucking cowardly thing anybody can do. If you are okay with what's going on, just say you're okay with it. Don't say I'm neutral. That's just some bitch ass shit. Period. Like, there's really no other way to put it. Pick a side. That's like saying you're neutral on fucking slavery. That's like saying you're neutral on the Holocaust. Is it bad or not? This is one of those situations in real time. So if you want to choose that it's okay, just say that and stay on that side. But don't say, I want to be neutral. Why can't people be neutral? Because being neutral is being complicit in supporting the shit that goes on, which is why it's even got to this point. Because niggas were neutral. Literally, the people that were neutral on slavery is why slavery went on as long as it did. The people that were neutral on the Holocaust, that's why it lasted as long as it did. People who are neutral on the violence in Africa, that's why their countries are getting exploited and there's so much poverty and violence, because people are neutral, right? Because they're like, oh, I don't have a dog in the fight, right? And it's like, where's the fucking humanity? Where's the humanity? You're literally the privilege to turn off your humanity and say I'm neutral. You got to recognize that that is a privilege, to be neutral on something that actually affects people's real life. So to me, it's not even a choice. If I care about other humans, if I care about myself, my people, then I have to be able to identify with other people's struggle. MLK had this great quote. He said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and truer words have not been spoken. That is a fact. So if we actually care about us having our rights and our freedoms and all this other shit, we have to care about other people's struggle, because we share a struggle. Some of us are dealing with worse versions of it than others. And if you were in the privileged situation to sit and kick your feet back and learn about some shit, you should do that. You should do that. We spend all this time playing on the games, scrolling on Twitter, scrolling on YouTube, just watching fucking brain rot. Take 10 minutes of your time to dedicate to learning about a situation so that you could actually have an informed opinion instead of defaulting to being neutral on some bitch ass shit. Because it is. That's the only fucking way to put it. That's exactly how I would talk about somebody if they said they were neutral on slavery. Because that's basically the fucking equivalent, except niggas are just getting their whole houses bombed and neighborhoods bombed and collecting pieces of their family members. How are you neutral on people collecting pieces of their family members? How are you neutral on kids whose parents got killed and they got babies in the hospitals with no family? How are you neutral on people having their whole fucking bloodline wiped out? Like, I don't understand. I'm genuinely confused. It's like either you're ignorant to the information or you're just choosing to be obtuse about it. And if you're ignorant, that's okay. We all gotta learn. But it's like we all like to look back on history and be like, oh my God, how did this happen? How did people allow these atrocities to happen? Then atrocities happen in real time and niggas don't know what to say. Same people like, oh, if slavery was back in the day, I would have been rebelling, you know, I would have fought for the black people, you know, I would have did this. Oh, if the Holocaust happened in my time, you know, I wouldn't go for that, you know, I would be protesting. I would have, no, y'all niggas wouldn't have, because the time coming, y'all scared. Y'all scared to even have an opinion. An opinion is something light. Niggas are losing their life. Niggas are losing their families. People are fucking mutilated. Body parts gone. Babies just fucking crushed under rubble. Babies getting blown up. They blowing up the ambulances. They blowing up the hospitals. They blowing up the schools. They blowing up the churches. They blowing up the mosque. They blowing up the UN shelters that are neutral ground. At what point do you form an opinion and say, damn, this is not okay? What more do you need to see? Like, seriously, what more do you need to see to be like, damn, I read this every day and I'm still neutral. I don't say the bombing is good. If you're neutral, being silent, being neutral is complicit, period. That's just the facts. So you read it every day and you still say, oh, I'm neutral, I don't have a side. How? So you're saying you don't say the bombing is good, so that means that it's not good, which means you have a position. That's not neutral. Bessie said, I guess my thing is, how the hell can y'all claim Holy Land after it's been drenched in blood shed of innocent lives? Kidnapping isn't great either. So what do you have to say about the thousands of Palestinians that are being detained in jail for no reason, that have been detained in jail for years? Oh, and what do you say about the Israeli government that has killed the hostages in their bombings? Is that okay? They're so bloodthirsty trying to kill Palestinians that they killed some of the fucking hostages that got kidnapped. That's how much they don't give a fuck. You do realize the ones of y'all that be talking about the hostages and kidnapping and all that, y'all the only ones who give a fuck, because Israel do not care about them niggas. They were just ready to go in there and bomb everything and kill the hostages in the meantime. So it's weird how, like, the people who put this narrative out that they're doing this for the hostages and the people that died, they don't even give a fuck. The military, the Israeli government, don't even give a fuck about the hostages. They'll kill them because guess what? They'll be able to say, oh, the hostages died, which is why we gotta bomb them even more. Stop it. Stop. Like, we gotta actually have some nuance to the conversation, right? Because if you want to talk about the kidnapping and what happened on October 7th, we can get into it, but it's going to require you to go a little bit further into the story than just stopping right there and saying, well, this is bad. Yes, it's bad. Why did it happen? That's how real life goes. You can't just look at the end result and be like, oh my God, this is horrible. What led to the horrible thing? Now, when we walk back and look at what led to the horrible thing, let's go back to the establishment of Israel as a state in 1948 and the 750,000 Palestinians that they displaced with terrorism. That's how this all started. Israeli Zionist settlers came and claimed this country as their holy land, even with people already living there that were Muslim, Christian, and Jewish living in harmony. 1948, the Nakba happened and they terrorized those people out of their neighborhoods, bombed them, killed them, all types of things. That's what happened. That's where they started. You can't talk about the people that got kidnapped and the hostages and Hamas killed the people on October 7th. That happened, but where does it go back to? What does Hamas stand for? They are resistance fighters. They are resisting occupation. Just like the United States was illegally occupied and settled by European settlers, the same thing that happened in 1948 is what happened in the United States with the Trail of Tears, where they killed off all the Native Americans and pushed them off their land and said, oh, well, you go here. The people that are in Gaza, over 2/3 of them are the people who initially got pushed out of their homes in 1948 when Israel was established on top of their land. They brought even more Jewish people, Zionists, to that land than were allowed to be there. Mind you, Palestine was not consulted in the decision to bring Jewish people there. So then they said, okay, that's fine. We'll let some of them come. But then even more of them came and they start straight up just stealing their shit and pushed all 750,000 of those people either out the country to Lebanon, to Jordan, across the world. And the ones that stayed went to Gaza. They split up Gaza and the West Bank. If you want to talk about Hamas, being a problem, we need to ask, why did the Israeli government prop up Hamas and collaborate with them? Why have former Israeli officials said it was a mistake to work with Hamas and build them up? Right? We have to really get into it. Why did Israel prop up Hamas as an organization? The answer is they propped up Hamas. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. They propped up Hamas because it would be easier to justify pushing out the Palestinians and taking their land if you had a violent terrorist group representing the people instead of the group that was originally representing them. Why did the United States government and Israel collaborate to cause a civil war between the peaceful democratic group that was representing Gaza and Hamas? They fueled the conflict between them so Hamas could take over, and it was easier to justify not giving Palestinian people their land. That is a fact. So, if we can understand that Israel propped up Hamas as a group, we have to ask why. People have already acknowledged that something like this would happen if Israel continued to occupy these people's land, siege their territory, and block them from having rights, citizenship, in the land. Why are Israeli people illegally settling on land that is internationally declared as Palestinian land? Why? Because they don't want them there. We hear all this stuff about, Hamas wants to wipe out the Israeli state. Yes, they don't want Israel to be a state that rules and domineers over them. They want it to be one state where they can all live and go to their land. Israel takes that as a threat, which is why they abuse Palestinian people all the time. This year before October 7th was already the worst year on record for Palestinian deaths and arrests. They have no due process. They have no citizenship. They have no military. They have no government. This is not an equal war. Why do terrorist attacks get committed? Because they are not able to do proportional damage. The onus is always put on the country that has nuclear arms, militaries, and funding from other countries because they can do more damage. Those are the rules of war. So please answer this. If the country with the most weapons, the most military, and all of that stuff, why are they indiscriminately bombing civilians? right? Because we can say the kidnapping's bad. Boom, now we're done. Now what? Where do we go? We have to have nuance to the conversation. So your kidnapping and being killed is a good thing and better than a bomb? Who said one's better than the other? Since we can acknowledge they're both bad, let's talk about the disproportionate killing, okay? Because the number of people they reported died, half of those people were military people. RIP to the people that died. But y'all were settling on illegal land. To me personally, I'm not about to go live on no land illegally that's literally contested, because guess what? If there's a war, that's gonna be the first place they target. So in my opinion, that's their own dumbass fault for living on illegally occupied land. Like, it makes no sense. That's the arrogance to think you can live on somebody else's land that wants their land back and think you're not gonna be a target if they ever try to come take it back. So what I'm saying is, if we can acknowledge both things are bad, what's the next step? We need to look at where to place responsibility. Israel needs responsibility for propping up Hamas because they wanted it to make it an easier argument to not give Palestinians rights or not negotiate with them, because if they're being led by terrorists, then there's no reason to negotiate on when they should get their land back. So the original group that was ruling over Gaza was peaceful, democratic, but then they would actually have to negotiate with them. So they propped up Hamas as a resistance group because it's easier to make an argument against, hey, Israeli people, look, you don't want to let the Palestinians come live with you. Look, they got Hamas, they gonna kill all of y'all. Meanwhile, Israel has been killing these people the whole time. Meanwhile, multiple October 7ths have happened in Gaza and to Palestinians since 1948. So where was everybody up in arms about Palestinian kids being kidnapped by the IDF and put in jail for no reason? Where's the outrage for these people in jail getting raped, peed on, humiliated for years? Where's all the fucking outrage? Like, I'm confused. Where's the same fucking energy? When it's fucking white settlers, white colonialists, y'all got all this to fucking say, oh my God, kidnapping's so bad. Y'all don't give a fuck about kidnapping, because if you did, you'd be saying the same fucking thing for the Palestinians. So just admit it. You don't give a fuck about the brown people. It's okay. We get it. Y'all only give a fuck about the white settlers. That's like saying, oh my God, what about the slave owners? That's what y'all are saying. Oh my God, what about the slave owners? Come on, slaves, be nice. We know they fucking dehumanize you, don't give you any rights, rape you, beat you, kill your fucking kids. But come on, slaves, have a little sympathy for your slave owners. At least they gave you land to live on. That's what y'all are fucking saying. So no, I'm not gonna be neutral. We're not gonna do the in-between middle ground. You can stay on your middle ground if you want, but I'm telling you, y'all niggas who like to stand in the middle and stay on the fence when it's so fucking obvious what's going on are the reason that this shit keeps fucking happening. You are the reason this shit keeps happening, because the least you can do is actually educate yourself about what's going on, and you're choosing not to. You're choosing not to. Violence begets violence. So if these Palestinian resistance fighters are being violent, we need to go back to the root of the fucking violence. All of y'all niggas would be mad if somebody came in your fucking house and kicked you the fuck out and beat your ass on the way out. These Palestinian people, even in the fucking West Bank, literally be living in their house, minding their fucking business, and the Israeli people, these Zionist extremists and the IDF will come in there, come to their house, kick them out, remove their stuff, or make them stay in the back of the house while the Israeli settlers take over their house. Y'all would be up in arms if somebody came and did that to you and your family, right? But they're supposed to all be peaceful and just get their ass beat and get shot in the fucking street, get put in fucking jail, and with a smile on their face, right? That's what y'all are saying. So if somebody killed your fucking parent, if they came and bombed your whole family and wiped your whole family out, you're telling me you're gonna go shake the hand of the person that did that shit? Let's be fucking real. Y'all don't be realistic. If somebody came and killed your fucking family, are you telling me that you would be happy to communicate with the people that did that think you were the scum of the earth? You think you would just be buddy with them niggas? They already kicked your ancestors off the land. You living in an area that has the food, water, medical supplies, everything controlled. You can't fucking leave Gaza. You cannot leave. They can't go nowhere. We have the freedom to leave whatever bad situation we're in and go somewhere else. And it's like we have the privilege to even sit here and talk about it and debate this shit. They don't get a choice. They don't get to leave. They have to sit here and dig their family members out the rubble. What's not clicking? This is nothing new for them. These kids that are 18 right now have already gone through 2 wars on Gaza in their lifetime. And this is the worst one. Please tell me how bombing hospitals, bombing schools, bombing churches, bombing mosques, killing fucking medical professionals that are helping people, killing the medical professionals' families, killing journalists. Please go on and tell me again how this is somehow equivalent to people kidnapping niggas to get their people out of jail. They kidnapped them so they could get people out of jail that have been stuck in jail for years. That's why they kidnapped the hostages, because they don't have any other power. They don't have any, they literally cannot do anything else. So yeah, does it hurt feelings to kidnap them? Yes. Do you think these niggas wanted to go have to do that shit to get attention on them and get support? No. Do you think these niggas woke up mad and angry just wanting to kill Jews? If you believe that shit, you just dumb as hell. People lash out against the people that oppress them, period. So you can't look at the end result and be like, oh my God, this is so bad, I'm up in arms. But Justy, I didn't hear you say shit about the Palestinian kids that have been getting killed. 10,000 people fucking dead. Half of them are kids. Where's your sympathy for the kids? You say you care about the kids, you care about the people getting kidnapped, but what you do support is state-sanctioned violence. Just say it. When the state or when the government does it, you don't have a problem with it. You don't question it. But when it's people resisting oppression and dehumanization, you got all these questions. Oh my God, it's not right. So was it right for these niggas to literally lock them in the most densely populated piece of land? Was it right for them to cut off their food, water, gas? Was it right to literally not let them live on the land that is internationally declared as their land? Was it right for them to carpet bomb them all these years they've been doing it? Was it right for them to drop chemical fucking weapons on these people? Please tell me, is it right for them to keep killing the journalists who are objectively reporting on what's going on? Is it right for them to kill medical professionals and their families and bomb ambulances and bomb refugee camps? So the analogy that's going around that puts into perspective, if there is a mass shooter or a school shooter, would people justify it for the government, the police, the military to bomb the whole school because there's a mass shooter there? Does that make sense? We would not fucking stand for that at all. So why is it that when it's brown people in schools, mosques, neutral areas, right, their fucking place of residence, we somehow are like, oh, well, Hamas, there was one Hamas person, so it was worth it. Y'all are fucking nuts. Y'all are some fucking war-hungry, bloodthirsty ass people, and we need to unpack that shit. Because if somehow you can make it make sense in your mind to not even question the government that's doing it, you gotta reevaluate what's going on, and that's okay. We can do that together. But what you're not gonna be able to do is say, oh, I'm neutral, but what about this? I'm still waiting for you to question what the Israeli government and military has actually done. Because all you brought up was, so you're saying kidnapping and killing is a good thing and better than a bomb? You're not acknowledging that Palestinian people have been kidnapped by the IDF for multiple years. and have still been kidnapped, but because they're the state, they can detain people. People that were over there working in the West Bank in Jerusalem just got detained for no reason, just because they're brown. And no, it's not a bomb. It's not. Arcadia said, you can never punish the press. People react. People can be violent when forced. It's natural. It's not, that is not peace. It's just the lies of the oppressor. Also, punishing people for violent groups have always been the way that the powerful control us. It's showing if you lash out, we will hunt people that look like you. Like, I'm from Cali. Gang members don't touch cops because they are afraid that they will hurt like random people and kids. Collective punishment is the way of America. Facts. Yana said they over here dropping white phosphorus, burning people down to their bones. Exactly. That's what a lot of people who try to do this false equivalency fail to understand. One side is a nuclear fucking power of a country. The other has some niggas that paraglided over the border. They paraglided. They don't have an air force. Niggas was paragliding. And mind you, Israel was notified that the October 7th attack was going to happen 3 days before it happened from Egypt. So if they wanted to stop it, they could have, and they didn't. Why? Because it could justify their final plan to wipe out all the fucking brown people. So ask yourself, why did Israel not stop the attack from happening in the first place? I'm curious. Like, if we know for a fact now that they knew the attack was gonna happen, why did they not stop the attack? This is the most intelligent military force in the world. You think that all of a sudden they just were not intelligent anymore? Facts, Arcadia. Facts. It's called manufacturing consent. That's what they do. If you are not talking about the shit, you're just on the side of oppressor. Like it's only barely not against the Geneva Code. It's called a loophole weapon. I read that shit and went to deck my monitor. Amiga also. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I call out my government and my military for the dumb ass, crazy, heinous shit that we have been doing in the Middle East for years. It is disgusting how many people we displaced and killed all over some money and oil. Yeah, I heard that, Arcadia. I heard that there's a loophole to get around, like using it as a weapon, but it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And my thing is, it's the fact that people only be having sympathy for one side, and I get it. The white brethren and sistren like to align with each other. We get it, y'all Euros like to align with each other. But sometimes you need to just shut up and listen to the brown people. I'm so afraid to know how, because I'm starting to think laws are for super. Oh yeah, exactly. The laws are not for the countries or the elites or whoever. The laws are for us. They make those for us. Like, if it's okay to kill people off of technicality, killing is just okay. Yeah. And those laws and international conventions and shit they're all bullshit. They're all bullshit. So the point of what I'm saying is, some people don't realize how much of a privilege they have. I don't want anybody to do anything they want to do. I don't want to convert nobody to thinking the way that I think. I don't want to make nobody feel the same way I feel about it. That's not my point. My point is to let you guys know what I think and how I feel about it. And y'all gonna feel how y'all feel. But just know, if you want some BS and you don't have any nuance or substance to your thoughts, you're gonna get cleared in an actual conversation when we start breaking it down. So I would prefer for y'all to educate yourself on what y'all talking about before y'all bring it to me, because I'm not gonna speak on it unless I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I suggest you guys do the same, because you're gonna end up looking fucking silly when you actually start talking and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you're gonna look crazy. And I don't want y'all to look crazy. Just, it's okay. Sometimes we just gotta zip it and learn. And if you cool with some of this fuck shit, you cool with it. I'm just gonna let you know I'm not cool with it, and I'm gonna call you out on your shit when you sit here and try to both sides it. It's not both sides when one side don't have a government and military. It's not a war when one side don't got a government and military. It's not both sides when one country is getting funded by multiple fucking superpowers of countries and getting weapons and military support. It's not equal. Y'all niggas are getting mad at the slaves for rebelling against the slave owners. Y'all niggas would have been both siding the slave results back in the day. So it's like, it's cool. I see some of y'all for who y'all are, and that's okay. I still got love for y'all and respect for y'all as humans. I just hope that y'all never have to experience anything that remotely compares to what these people have to deal with, or as other black and brown people across the diaspora have to experience. That's the best I can hope for y'all, and most of y'all don't have to deal with that anyway. But I just want other people to challenge some of the beliefs that they had and question the sources that they get their information from, and ask yourself, do I know everything about this situation that I can know to form a strong opinion? Because as soon as I learned basic information, it was very clear to me what's going on. Very clear. Purple Rain PR, how are you, queen? Welcome on in. Arcadia said, see, I fuck with these combos and I wish I could have them more, but I know my friends. That's okay though. That's what you got us for. Also, I have a lot of blunt takes and I need people to hear me out. It's an eradication, annihilation, and slaughter. I need people to understand that we, especially in America, have no idea what that's like. Like, our government protects us from outside sources. It's not fun to be on another's plate. That's what I'm saying. Like, we have the opportunity to empathize with other people, and I get it. For certain people, it's hard to understand the perspective of someone that's oppressed if they've never been oppressed in their life. But for those of us that have experienced any form of oppression, we can immediately identify and recognize what's going on, which is why I think it's hard for certain people to understand where oppressed people are coming from, because they can't relate, they can't identify. But just because you can't relate and can't identify with it doesn't mean that you can't empathize. And you can't empathize if you're not looking at certain people as human. You can't empathize if you think there's something inherently wrong with people because they're brown or because they're Muslim. You know, they used to call Black Panthers a terrorist organization. They categorized Martin Luther King as a terrorist. So what should that tell you? Exactly, it's dehumanization. They tried their best to dehumanize Black, brown people all across the world. So when there's exploitation and oppression, people just, that's just a given. That's just what happens. That just happens to the brown people. MLK was a terrorist for what they wanted for them to be. War is naturally something that calls out that we're slaughtering others, and war has always been hard. It's easy to go, oh, there's evil, and yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. That's what I think we're supposed to do as people, is challenge what we're told and understand that people are pulling strings way above our head to shape our perception. And if you think that your thoughts are your own, you might need to double check that. If you haven't questioned what you were taught, you might need to double check that, because you have to understand the people that taught you certain things have their own agendas that you are not even privy to. And you got all these strong opinions about what things are and aren't, but you haven't done any work to actually break down the sources of those opinions. Like, you have to do that. I've had to do that. Just like I was taught that the United States military is so great and powerful and do all the good things and they're the police of the world and make sure there's justice and peace and all that. I got fed that BS when I was a kid, just like every other fucking American. And guess what I had to do? I had to go fucking unpack that when I saw that there were brown people that were getting discriminated against in hate crime. Why is this happening? Just because someone's Muslim? That doesn't make sense. Oh, we got a war on terror? Oh, they used 9/11 to manufacture consent to have a war on terror. Oh wait, it's not really a war on terror. Oh, this is a war on brown people. Oh, this is a war about collecting resources. Oh, this is a war about maintaining power. Oh, and then when I learned that the United States government and CIA were funding terrorist organizations to contribute to political instability, that just did it for me. I was like, well, damn, this is way different than what I was taught. Wait, the government, the military working with terrorists? I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists. Oh, but we do if it's in our interests. Learn about South America, the United States contributing to political and economic instability in South America so that they can have more control and more power in South American countries. Oh yeah, you know that time we dropped like atomic bombs on Japan and shit? Was that really to protect us from the Japanese? See, that's a little debatable, because when you actually get into it, the United States government knew that Japan was gonna bomb Pearl Harbor before it happened, but they let it happen to manufacture consent to go to war with Japan. Why did they go to war with Japan? Was it to protect American people and freedom? What the fuck does Japan have to do with American freedom? Until you recognize that Japan is a strategic location that's next to China, and the United States has to have some degree of influence near one of their biggest rivals. So why did the United States bomb Japan? Why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor in the first place? Oh, it's because the United States was over there trying to influence their government, and they weren't going for it. They weren't willing to change their economy. They weren't willing to change their society or their culture. So the United States said, well, we're gonna provoke you. So we're gonna like send military people to your country and like instigate and start conflicts. And then we're gonna come back, right? And we know you guys are gonna retaliate, but we're gonna let y'all retaliate and not stop y'all, because we need the American people on our side to justify killing Japanese people and testing out our new atomic weapon toy. So when you really start looking at history and you learn history, you can't judge anybody for not knowing certain things, but that's my job to tell you guys what I know and what I've learned, because it's really eye-opening and it really makes you start to question everything that you're taught, and it teaches you to not accept what's being told to you, because there's so many other agendas. Oh, and by the way, to wrap up the Japan story, after Pearl Harbor, the United States knew they manufactured enough consent from American people to go all out against Japan. They wiped Japan out. They targeted their cultural sites. They humiliated their culture, all types of things that are war crimes, right? Obviously dropping an atomic bomb is like crazy, but they did that so that they could rebuild their economy and their society with, guess who? US political and economic influence in their country. So was it really about fighting for American freedom? Not really. It was about maintaining more economic and political control in a strategic location next to China. So there's that. So when you learn that, that's vastly different than what we're told by our government, taught in schools. So when you look at that, and then you look at the Middle East and the war on terror, and then you look at South America and the war on drugs, and then you look at America with the war on drugs, and look at how that disproportionately affected Black and Latino communities. War on drugs, look at how that destabilized the economy and politics in South American countries, to where the United States could come in with their democracy and capitalism and take over and put their foot in their economics and basically control puppets in other countries' economies and political system, so that we could have more control over what's going on all across the world. So when you see that pattern and you see what's going on in Israel, it makes so much more sense than if you just believe whatever the fuck you're taught about, oh my God, we're going to help the good people. The United States help whoever gives them a strategic advantage, even if they are bad people. Ask why the CIA and military work with terrorist organizations, funded terrorist organizations, because they wanted to fuel political and social instability so that they can maintain their control in that region. So when you look at Israel, it's very obvious what's going on. The United States and other big countries want to have a degree of influence in the Middle East, and they can't control a lot of the other countries. They try to with their money, but they can't, which is why they fund Israel so much, because that's basically the only area they have a true foothold in the entire region. So this shit is not about the good guys and the bad guys. This shit is about the bad guys supporting the bad guys, right? And the bad guys oppressing the brown people, which is a story that has been all across the world to this point. So unless you know your history, it's not gonna make sense. And you're gonna look at the end result and be like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Why are the brown people so bad? Why are they terrorists? But it's because you were historically illiterate, and that is okay. I'm not judging anybody that lacks that understanding, but I am saying get your information correct before you form a strong opinion on something that you don't understand, because then you end up looking crazy, and history is not going to look too kindly on people like you, just like it didn't look too kindly on people who sat by while slavery was happening, didn't look kindly on people who sat back while the Holocaust was happening. You're going to end up being one of those people that didn't say nothing, but yet when your time comes for you to inevitably be oppressed, no one's going to be there to speak up for you, because they're going to say, how does this affect me? And if you're upset, people are going to look at your reaction and be like, well, why are you acting like that? You're going to be like, come on, don't you see everything that happened? Don't you see how they're treating people like me? But luckily, some of you guys will never experience that, because you have the veil of whiteness to protect you from some of the injustices that all of us experience on a daily basis. So congrats to you for being born white. The rest of us don't really get to pick a side, because we resonate with these things already from our own experiences and our ancestors' experience. So bless you for never having to deal with that shit, and bless you for living in your fucking privilege to where you can say, I don't want to pick a side. But for the rest of us, we actually have to stand on something, because people in our family and our fucking bloodlines died just so we can get to this point. And if you think that all of our people went through all that bullshit they did just for us to fucking be silent and be quiet and sit on the fence, you're out of your fucking mind. And I get it. If you don't identify with any of these experiences, if you don't have a history of your family dealing with oppression and having their voice the only thing that they could use, you wouldn't get it. So I understand. But for those of us that do resonate with that experience, this is our reality of what we have to do in order to make sure we are not complicit. Because now we're in the spot where we are distant from our ancestors that dealt with the worst of it. And it's on us to decide if we do something as small as just fucking speaking. We can speak. That's the least of fucking things we can do. Some of us got money. We can give money. But it's never gonna fucking compensate for the shit that people gotta live with on a daily basis that's funded with our fucking tax dollars. So I get it. To some of y'all, the concept of having connection and solidarity with other humans is foreign to you, because you come from a culture that's hyper individualistic and void of community. So I get it. It's like, okay, but still, why do y'all feel so strongly? Sometimes it's okay if you just don't get it. It's okay. I can't expect everybody to understand, but for those of us that do, we're gonna do what we can to stay informed and make sure that we can keep other people informed. So with that being said, I would just like to say to the people of conscience, to the people with humanity or space in their heart to care about other people, I appreciate you, and keep doing what you guys are doing to keep yourself informed so that we can counter the fucking insane injustices that happen across this world with our tax dollars. If anything, you should be feeling some type of way because of that. We do not support state-sanctioned violence. We don't support imperialism. We don't accept hyper-capitalism and exploitation of people. We don't condone the violence that is committed against Black and brown people all across the diaspora. We don't condone Islamophobia. We don't even condone anti-Semitism. To the real ass Jewish niggas out there, I know y'all out there, but it is fuck the Zionists. We don't like y'all niggas. Y'all can kick rocks. We don't like settlers and colonialism, and I don't support state-sanctioned violence and or terrorism. Just because the government or the military is committing it doesn't mean that it's okay. It might be normalized, but the shit is not okay. Okay, let me scroll back up. Arcadia said, it's let the fucked up shit go down without clogging shit up. See why this whole thing is fucked. Is this a war in civilians? And I honestly thought only America get away with this shit. Your girl Giannis said, you know why I respect you so much? It would have been easy to hop on Fortnite, run Fortnite, Minecraft, but you still here, use your voice and apply for something bigger. It's not even a choice, bestie. Arcadia said, I have not been checked into politics hard in 5 years. It's sad nothing changed. Like the reason Iran or Iraq I can know went to so anti-America is because we killed off their pro-American leader to get oil. Yes, I remember that. And Israel just killed Iran's nuclear scientists like when Trump was in office. And the US definitely helped with that. And didn't Trump like bomb one of the Iranian military leaders or Iraq somewhere? Like they knew better and someone caught for the attack without permission for it, and it was because Japan wanted to win. Exactly. Also, they used nuclear bombs to test what the effects were, right? Yep. They were horny for it. They need to see what it would do. They're rushing the bomb drop, and we sent doctors, but not because we were nice, but to legit get data. The person behind 9/11 was a CIA agent, bro. I swear somebody taught me that when I was younger. That would not fucking surprise me. It makes sense. He was probably undercover in Al-Qaeda or whatever group Osama bin Laden was in. He was probably undercover and was trying to imp them up to do the attack type shit. That would not surprise me. Y'all gotta learn some CIA history. For real. Y'all gotta learn some CIA history. Cause they be doing some crazy shit. Post the drone footage of the march. Oh wait, is it live? Oh wait, they got drone footage? Hey Bianca, activist vibes, definitely a great speaker, thank you. Hold on, let me find it. That weirdo came in the chat. Wait, where'd the link go? So this is the drone footage. I was hoping we could find some. How you doing today, Bianca? Wow, look at that. Yo, look at all these people. Wow. Dang, where's the rest of it? Fuck a ceasefire. Give these people their fucking land back. Nah, I'm radical. Give these people their fucking land back. Fuck a ceasefire. Take nuclear weapons away from Israel. Make a one fucking state. We don't need two states. Fuck a two-state solution. These people were on this land first. Give their fucking land back. They should not have to negotiate with terrorists about what part of their land they're gonna get. Period. Arcadia said, facts, get that shit out of here. I need healthcare, not a war. Exactly. Oh, and by the way, y'all's government just approved the $14 billion extra for Israel. Meanwhile, that's over half of what it would take to end hunger in the United States. Just a fun fact. It would take 25 billion for that. Oh, and they're still debating if they're gonna give the extra 60 billion to Ukraine, by the way. Meanwhile, people can't fucking afford housing, food, healthcare, nothing in this fucking country. Mind you. Wait, you say? I always say I do not respect any government assisted cruelty. He was a resource to be more accurate, but a lot of them are just spies, right? You about to get ready for work? Yo, Bianca, we gotta we gotta play Fortnite sometime. I don't know when you're gonna be off or like streaming next, but just let me know whenever you are, so that I can pull up on you. Chat, make sure I drop this Queen Bianca and drop Arcadia a follow. And hold on. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all following each other. And y'all follow Bestie socials. There you go. Everybody, you get a follow, you get a follow. You get a shout out. I appreciate you, Bianca. Oh, you're off tomorrow. Nice. Okay. Monday and Tuesday. We could definitely play Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna be off tomorrow. Recharge a little bit. Plan out for the week. And then I'm gonna be back Monday and Tuesday. So we should be able to line up our times one of those days. Oh yeah, Bestie. I had to get a shout out in there.
Grandfather was a Jewish anti-Zionist organizer who stood with Palestine since
I don't know why. Because I wanted to.
embedded that into my heart. So I'm here with you.
W Bianca, I hope you have a great day at work.
Sisters, with my relatives. No matter what they have done to try to wipe us out from history, to try to
Oh, and I forgot to add one thing about my point. When y'all niggas be trying to both sides this and oh my god, they kidnap people. Oh my god, terrorist attack. What happened when the Palestinian people tried to peacefully protest? Any guesses, guys? Any guesses? Do any of you guys want to guess what happened when the Palestinian people were marching towards the border years ago and tried to peacefully protest? What happened, y'all? Yes, if you get a little too close, you disappear. In fact, the IDF soldiers were taking turns sniping medics, sniping kids, sniping women, just for funsies. So please tell me again why you're so sad about the violence when niggas tried to peacefully protest and they got packed up. Yep, they shot a British reporter. They crushed a peaceful protester who was standing in front of a bulldozer because they were trying to tear down Palestinian homes. They crushed that white lady. They ran her over. So please tell me again why you're so up in arms about violence that was inevitable. Let's use common fucking sense. Y'all niggas be living in La La Land hoping and praying that people who have been getting murdered over and over and over again are gonna be nice when they resist. And they were nice. They tried this 5 years ago. They tried.
Cut off from the outside world, thousands
What happened when they tried, y'all?
Again congregated not far from the border fence.
What happened when they tried the nice way that y'all are saying, right? Because y'all are saying that violence isn't the answer. So please tell me what's the alternative. That's what I'm gonna start asking y'all. For those of y'all that be like, oh, they shouldn't kidnap people, they shouldn't kill people. Ideally, they don't kill or kidnap anybody, right? But if military strategists have told Israel, if they keep occupying this land, if they keep oppressing them, there's going to be violence. They had the understanding that that was going to happen, but they wanted it to happen so that they could justify indiscriminately killing people like they have. So it's like these little arguments that I be seeing, they're just so, they're lacking so much depth. Because if military experts can tell you, hey, if you keep killing these people, hey, you keep cutting these people water off, you keep them trapped, you keep doing this, there's gonna be something that happens eventually. That's common fucking sense. So why are we ignoring common sense that military people informed Israel about? It's 2 + 2 = 4. So when you get 4, why the fuck are you crying about getting 4? You created the circumstances for it to happen. So we really gotta question Israel's intentions. Do you think they created these conditions on accident? Do you think they sieged their land and blocked off their borders and counted how many calories went across the border to these people? You think they did that on accident? Do you genuinely think that they thought they were immune from any type of violence coming back to them? No, they didn't think that. They just knew that when the violence happened, they'll be able to retaliate 10 times harder. And they were itching and waiting for a moment where it happened to justify doing what they always want to do, which is wipe out these brown people, take their land, and justify not negotiating with people whose land they're on. So we really gotta stop acting obtuse. We have to stop acting obtuse about the circumstances that led to this. Because it's all these white people around the world like, oh my God, why don't they just peacefully protest? When they did, they were shooting them fucking down like dogs. They were shooting the fucking medical aid workers in the field. They were shooting the kids. Like, you have to be obtuse or just fucking stupid. I don't know. And I don't want to think y'all are being stupid. So I'm gonna just assume y'all are ignorant and obtuse. Arcadia said, violence is the desperate as people fall into the abyss. And I hate how we're so angry at some of these people. These people are trying to not go into extinction. I think people need to realize this is fucked up and racist and oppressive speech. Yes, exactly. Then gaslight people when they retaliate. Yes, that's the worst part. The worst part is the retaliation where niggas are like, yeah, we know you're oppressed and like have no rights, and your women get raped by the soldiers, and you know your men and kids get taken into jail as hostages for no reason, and we know y'all get shot in the street and like kicked out y'all's house, and we know that y'all don't have the right to leave this little area even though you have internationally declared land on the other side. We know y'all can't see y'all family that's been on the other side since y'all got separated in 1948. We know all these things, but can't you just act nicely? That's fucking delusion some of y'all white people got. Dead ass. Like, and it's not all white people, but some of y'all white people be living in this fucking la la land where y'all think everything is fucking sweet and you think revolution happens without violence. When in fucking history has revolution happened without violence? When? It's never happened. We glorify the fucking wars of all of our countries getting their independence and shit, right? We can look back on the Boston Tea Party and be like, yeah, that was good. We can look back on the Revolutionary War and be like, yeah, that was good because the good guys were fighting for their rights, right? We can look back on the Civil War and be like, oh, the good side won, right? We can look at all the international wars for people to get their freedom, and we look on that fondly. But when there's some brown people fighting for their freedom, oh, can't you be nice about it? Can't you just like do a peaceful protest?
But getting too
can't
close
you just,
to the barrier,
can't you just like, I don't know, like shake hands with the niggas that spit in your face and killed your family? Come on, you gotta be better than them. When they go high, no, when they go low, you go high. Like Michelle Obama said, that's what they want brown people to be on when they get their families killed and they have no rights and get oppressed. You want them to be the bigger person than the country that's oppressing them. That's crazy.
While the violence was not as intense, reports from
also there's a reason we have the word retaliation. Like, people just want to be fucking stupid. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really mean about this kind of thing. I just call people out sometimes because you have to. Yeah, bro, like that's how I feel, because it's like, look, we be tiptoeing around a bunch of other shit that's important. This is not gonna be one of the things I tiptoe around. I just accepted that. And if people feelings are hurt or I gotta lose friends because of it, kick fucking rocks, bro. Grow the fuck up and check your privilege. That's all I got to say. That nigga Ziv was in my chat crying because his country's going to war. Nigga, you are safe. You have a whole Iron Dome that gets funded by US taxpayer dollars to shoot down all the missiles that come towards y'all. The other side is actually living in war. This nigga was celebrating because his military is going to war. Meanwhile, your military people can come back and say hey to their kids on the weekends. Other people, they gotta dig their fucking family out the rubble. They gotta hear the missiles and the drones and everything flying over their house, not knowing which time it's gonna hit their house. They gotta hear people crying and screaming under the rubble because they can't get them. Yes, the automatic death turrets at the border. Yes, they literally have automatic turrets that auto lock onto people if they get too close to the border to kill them. So it's like, how the fuck can you in your privilege, right? You're so sad for whatever reason when you didn't lose a family member. Your military got all the power. Your military got all the militaries backing them. But you can still stream while your country's at war and you're so sad, right? You can still get on stream and play your little VR, right? You can play your VR headset and stream and talk to your friends, right? And I'm supposed to believe that you're the person being oppressed? Fuck out of here, my nigga. Fuck out of here. Like, like, let's be serious. Camera pointing to people's homes. It's crazy, bro. And the extent that they've done this shit is fucking insane, bro. Like, because they don't just stop at the people that they're targeting, they target their whole family. I've seen so many people who are working in the hospitals that are already on their last legs, mind you. People working in the hospitals and find out their whole family's been killed. You're telling me is that because of Hamas too? Is that because of the people that were kidnapped too? Please tell me, what does that have to do with anything? The ambulances taking already injured people to the hospital getting bombed. Please tell me what that has to do with people who are already dead and the people who are just living their life. The journalists that got killed who are just fucking reporting, them finding out their whole family got wiped out while they're reporting on the news. Please tell me, what does that have to do with hostages and people that already are dead? What does that have to do with it? Help, I'm really trying to get it. People's whole families getting wiped out because they're trying to tell their story. Journalists, one of the first things we get taught in school is the telltale sign of a fascist government, a dictatorship, is them silencing journalists. That is one of the first things we learn. But we see it in real time and don't know how to apply the shit that we learn. So it's easy. See, that's the thing. People like what's easy. It's easy to stand up for something when you have nothing to lose or when it doesn't matter, there are no stakes. But this is the time where we really see who has character and humanity and not. And it's not even a judgment thing, it's just facts. Because it's like, it's easy to look back in the history book and be like, oh yeah, damn, that was wrong, they shouldn't have did that. But then you got some shit in front of you in real life and you don't even want to pick a side. Like, at least if you pick a side, you could just stay where you at. But sitting on the fence, like I said, it's just some bitch ass shit. Being targeted because they're a journalist, like, that's so fucking illegal. Silence people. Freedom is not easy. We gotta fight for it and fight to do the right thing so people we love are never harmed. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, that's unfortunate about, like, the human experience. Like, a lot of people don't understand how somebody else getting oppressed or hurt can also affect them. We only care about it when it comes back and spins the block on us. And then we want everyone to care about what's going on, but we can't offer that for somebody else. And freedom is not fun. It's not fun, it's not entertaining, it's not trendy, it's not anything. It's not even socially acceptable depending on what color you are and where you're from. But that's the thing, it's like we have to challenge ourselves on what we know. Bessie said, I know I said no spending, but I'm at Michael's. I mean, but that's art stuff. See, this is what I was telling you about. The art stuff don't count.
Despite the chorus of international criticism, most Israelis support the tough stance taken by their army. That's because most Israelis regard the Gaza Strip as a nest of Hamas terrorists, and they want to prevent that border fence from being breached at all costs. But organizers of the demonstration say Hamas
These people are
is
so
not
bold.
behind this, and they claim the majority of people did not approach the border fence, preferring to keep a safe distance to peacefully protest their plight.
They are coming here just to do something. You know, they are not care about what's happened to them. They are not care about dying, because they are dying slowly, day by day in Gaza. So I talked with many of those demonstrators. They said that we are ready to die now.
Damn.
On the other side of the fence, the outlook was very different. The Israelis accusing Hamas of using the demonstrations as cover to send forward militants to infiltrate Israel. The government is defending the policy of using live rounds to prevent any breaches.
We don't
That's
have to
crazy.
wait until the knife is on our neck. You know, you don't want to wait until the suicide bomber is in the cafe. You don't want to wait till the guy with the Molotov cocktail is standing right next to you. You don't want to wait till the gun is at your head. Israel took action in order to prevent disasters. Israel should be lauded for
Right.
the
So
action it took.
before, so like they're just admitting that there was no violence, right? And they took preventative measures. So they were like, well, we're just gonna be violent first to prevent y'all from being violent. And when y'all understand that that has been Israel's policy the whole fucking time, you'll actually understand why some people are just like, fuck this shit. If I'm gonna die anyway doing nothing, I might as well die trying to fight for the liberation of my people. That's the predicament some people are in, where they're like, you know what, I don't even have to do anything and these niggas gonna try to kill me, so I might as well die trying to actually fight for something. And you know what, I gotta respect it, because it's like, if you feel like you're gonna get targeted anyway, you don't even have to be in Hamas. You don't even gotta be a resistance fighter. You just be a regular person and get targeted. So it's like, this is an Israeli official. He letting y'all know right here. They didn't even do anything, but they said they had to shoot at them and kill people before they killed them. Meanwhile, these people don't even have weapons. So they're like, oh, but the peaceful protesters, they're a cover for Hamas. Y'all see how everything, they just blame it on Hamas? They ain't got shit to do with this. And they're like, oh, the peaceful protesters is not peaceful, they're human shields. They can twist this all types of ways, and some of y'all are just gonna eat it up.
But the Israelis are likely to be just as resolute, and while their tactics have provoked international criticism, none has come from the one country that really matters, the United States. John Irvine, News at 10, on the Israel-Gaza border.
Right. And for countries that say they care about democracy and freedoms and rights so much, why didn't they say anything when, I don't know, they were killing protesters? Right? Isn't that what we heard is bad? We all heard the story when we were in kids. Okay, we all heard the story when we were kids about Tiananmen Square, right? In China, when that protester got killed when he was standing in front of the fucking tank. That was one of the things that separated us from communist China and the bad people, right? That we allow and we support peaceful protests. That's one of the things that we're told is the reasons behind why we go and invade other countries, because we got to make sure people got their freedoms to protest. But it's only certain people. It doesn't apply if our government can get a strategic military and economic advantage by supporting the people that don't allow the protests, which in this case is Israel.